people. Quick couple of episodes. We got a new horse in the stable. Just something quick and cheap to get through the door, so my son can end up having a 125. I'll turn the camera around and give you a show, and we'll go from there. Here she is. It's a Chinese 125. It's a Lifan 125 14F Mohicano. There's so many different various models, but it's 14F Lifan. I picked it up cheap as chips. It came to me as a non-runner. My son, Logan, and me spent the last few days fault finding, going through it all. I didn't video it. Wish I had now, but I didn't. But basically we've changed to a new CDI box. We've replaced about 18 inches of the wiring loom, because when I put a fresh battery on and turned the ignition on, the wiring loom went up in smoke. So somebody'd been cutting wires, leaving bare wires, stripping wires. Your basic bodge job, basically. But I had full electrics to the bike, lights, indicators, horn, everything was working. The bike was turning over sweet as a nut, but it had no spark at all. So I did the obvious: coils, spark plugs, coil pickup, tested them all, done the homage. Everything was coming back right. So kill switch wires had been cut inside, replaced those, still getting no spark. So I managed to chase it through, and I done continuity on the kill switch wire from the CDI box up to the kill switch itself, getting no continuity on the wire. So I spliced a bit of wire between the two, fired up, and she started first turn of the key. So I'll fire it up for you to see. Start to do one-handed. And that's basically from cold. No choke. Straight off the button. Sounds pretty sweet. So anyway, so basically, boy's coming up to 17, so to the stage he's riding a 50 at the moment, so he can soon move up to a 125. So this came up, and like I said, it was cheap as chips, purely for the fact he was a non-runner. I put probably 10 quid into it, and it's a runner, and it sounds really sweet. I've took it down the road and she pulls well. Cosmetically, she's a bit beat up. We got some cracked fade ends, some pit rust. Somebody had the tank hydro dipped, that's scratched, so we gotta do something with that. The casings are over there, so I have got the side casings. Basically she's in need of a little bit of loving. Back mudguard is shot to bits, as you can see. I've had to redo the wiring loom, rewrap, reroute. So basically we're going to do a small restoration. We're not going to do a full restoration, engine out, nothing like that. The videos, this is just get her back looking nice and sweet, clean it up, do what we can, let him get the rest of the season now, riding season in with a 125, and then maybe through the winter we'll strip down and do a full frame up build. But for now we're just gonna get her looking fresh, get her to the point where she'll fly in MOT, get her on the road. We have got the seat. So here, that's the seat again. The seat's been bodged about with, so we got to replace that. And what I've done already is I've gone on Fleabay and I've managed to source second-hand mudguard. We just give it a wax and polish up, and it come up quite nice. So that's ready to go on. We also picked up pillion seat because my boy wants to put a back seat back on, and these did come with a small chrome sissy bar. Again, wasn't with the bike. So what I've got is I've got an old sissy bar off of Virago 535 that we're going to see if we can adapt, change up, splice, cut, chop, basically adapt so that he can have a sissy bar back on. But there she is in all her sad looking glory. As I say, the next videos are going to be just stripping down, nothing too involved, going through what we're doing, putting bits back on, and then taking her down the road. So stay tuned, people. Welcome back. Lifan 125 Mohicano. I should just leave that going. Right. Anyone? Yeah, go on.
Go ahead, see?
Okay. Let's go socket it again. Back in the shop again, no? In the box on the end of the bench, you'll get him before that. The end of the bench. Alright, so then, open the way back. End of the bench. That's the front, end of the bench. Come on. Oh shit, everywhere. Next 18 knows not gonna have to go.
I'll shake off that tailgate, it fits your toes in it.
This is how you start to look after the bike.
Yeah, take all the massage off. The easiest way to ride tailgate is take the shocks off and put a straight bar between.
Yeah.
Right, finish bad enough, or you finish bad enough.
Like the one as well. What's this? The seatbelt. Seatbelts.
Seat cover, same bag as the bolts. Trim guard off. Trim guard, let them off. Nothing to do it. Easy, sit back into it, like, it won't bad out.
The bolts for the 8 mil? Or are you just taking that bit off?
I'm taking anything out.
Let's go on, go.
Like one stage at a time. I know, give me a minute. One corner, over the way. I think we 10 on the stand. Yeah. One looks like we get the feed socket.
Towards double top.
Yeah, that's it. It's all in this couple.
So you put into this.
Love it. the back, maybe back. This goes dirty. Top, it's split. Easy with it. Leave it, that was a touchdown. Will you try my goggles? Yeah. It's on the end of that. It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. Standing over isn't helping. Step away, is that way? I'm going to get involved. I'm standing away. And that's it. Go, under that plastic. Take it off. Give it go, please. I want you to go so you can have that skin.
Okay, that's all we can do outside at the moment. We've got mudguard off, like you saw. I had to smash it off. The bolts were just seized horrendously. I've got one that I'm going to have to cut off because the Allen head's rounded. Trouble when you buy whole bikes, it's not being looked after. These will need taking off, the covers as well. But basically I've stripped off what I can outside now with the bike still set on both wheels. I need now to take it inside so that we can get him up on the jack on the little bike lift and take the back suspension off, back wheel off. I've took the chain off as you saw, and then we can finish stripping down, ready for the paint and fresh up. So we'll roll him inside and then we'll pick back up. Right, so we've come back inside. We've stripped a few bits more off. We've stripped the back mudguard down now of all the lights and everything. We've stripped the exhausts off. That was just 2 bolts on each. The other side, the bolts had studs had sheared. Somebody put normal bolts in for now, so that's okay. I've ordered studs up. I've got the motorcycle lift underneath the bike now, so it's nice and safe. Back wheel is free and off the ground. So we're just about now to undo the shock absorber mounting bolts, take those out, take the wheel off, and then get to the swing arm to strip the swing arm off, because we're taking it to have a powder coated. So put it on the tripod and we'll carry on stripping down.
That's not a socket, is it? Well, that fits on it, no, I didn't. You want probably like a 19, or maybe a bit bigger. We'll have a look now. 19. Put them in hammer. I'll go 19 feet. No, just 17. Into the... Can you pay against one? Over on the filing cabinet, the other side. Right, now look at these are set up now. Look how the wheels are set up. Corners, this side. That's fine, that's all great and well. Look how the nuts and the spacers are set up. You've got nuts, you've got spacers. If I win you have to put it back together, so you would have to know. So you've got a bottom plate that goes through the boat. You've got the adjusters. You've got a small spacer, you've got a big spacer. You've got your brake nut, you've got to wind off. You've got your torsion bar nut, you've got to undo. All these things you've got to look at and take note of before you undo and take anything off, because otherwise you're going to take stuff off, come to put it back on, go, where the hell did that go? What's that for? And then you're going to get a shit creek. That's your tie rod. Tie the back drum today. 13 spanner. That's a 15. Players try. What's that? The black long bar. Put the bottom rows in there. Hold the wheel up. Hold the wheel camera. away. Press up, we go.
Right, back wheel is off. As you saw, our rear spindle was way too corroded in there. Look at it, mankin. That bike has now been looked after. That spindle should be nice and shiny and greased up. So that's another thing to address. I had to use a drift to knock the spindle out. It's basically like a punch, but with a flat end. You get them in different thicknesses. And I used it on the end of the spindle bolt not to damage the thread. You can put the nut back on and knock it through that way. But because the spindle was so tight in there, I had to use the drift to knock it all the way through. So Logan's just going to take the one shock off just to show you. That's tightening. Right, before it goes down to the bottom, that's a common mistake a lot of people make. What Logan just did, he didn't check the socket was set to slacken off, used it tightening the bolt. Now what do you think could have happened?
Could have snapped the threads of the bolt.
Exactly. If you don't check it, your socket, or even if you're using a spanner, if you're not going the right way when you want to loosen a bolt out, if you are tightening that bolt up, you're going to risk snapping that thread. Now these are actually fixed to the frame. These are studs, not bolts going through. So if you had snapped one of these, we'd have been a world of pain, because we'd have had to cut it off, sand it back and try and weld a new threaded bar on there that then isn't as strong as what is from the factory. So just a key note there. The rhyme I use, lefty loosey, righty tighty. You go left anti-clockwise to loosen. You go right clockwise to tighten. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. That was a prime example. Logan didn't check the socket. Averted a disaster, but that could have ended up a big problem. So always check. And it's exactly the same with the spanner. If you go to pull to the right and you were trying to loosen it, you're going to shear that bolt. So just check. Right, so he's going to the bottom, and now he's already checked that he's going to go the right way. You know, these are going to be stiff because obviously look at the corrosion on the back of the bolt.
I can't do that one.
Right, so he needs some more muscle. So I'll undo over. Now again, you don't want to be cranking on these with all your strength because these will shear as well. If it won't go first, there, if that wouldn't go that quarter of a turn, I'd have soaked it in WD-40 again and left it for 20 minutes. Then tried it. If it went, great. If not, soak it again, leave it for another 20 minutes. If you can only get a quarter of a turn, go back a quarter of a turn, loosen half a turn, go back a quarter of a turn, loosen half a turn, go back quarter of a turn. That way you cut in the gut out of that thread, the muck that's in there, you cutting it back out. But this one is cracked off now, so we can loosen this bolt. Now this bolt is a through bolt, means it goes through the carrier and the suspension arm. We still got the other side in, so we know the swing arm isn't going to drop to the floor. It will drop a little bit when I take the bolt out, but not to the floor. So when we do the other side, we've got to be mindful this bolt is holding everything up. Once you've got the pressure off, take the swing arm, a little bit of the weight, take that bolt through. See, the centre was clean. It's just corroded on each end. Shock comes out of the carrier and just lifts off the top. you may have a metal bushing that slides in as well. These rubbers are not looking the best, but and there may be a back washer. Now this may be actually pressed on, so if you can't pull it off, leave it on. So we'll do the other side and then we'll have a look at the swing arm. Okay, so we got both the suspension arms off. Now the swing arm is held by a big long swing arm bolt which sits behind these caps, one each side. You've got your bolt this side and the bolt head on the other side. It's just a case of undo that bolt and draw that long bolt all the way through, holding the swing arm as you do so that it doesn't drop. Let's hope that's not seized up like the rear wheel. We'll undo that, pull it through, and then bring you back for a quick wrap up. Alright people, once you get the swing arm out, she's a little bit grubby if I don't get killed with a door. As you can see, we've got a little split in the top on each side, so I'll have to have another fresh bead of weld down. I got to take tie bar off, chain runner got to be taken off, and then that's ready once it's been zapped to go to powder coat. So she don't look too bad in there. I'm going to call that a wrap for this episode 1. That's all we got to do is get center stand off because it's got to have a new bar welded on, and then we can start cleaning up then. So call it done for this video. Stick around, there'll be a few more once we get into it. Thanks for watching and stay tuned.